Hey there. Welcome to another episode of the Super Review Show's Career Retrospectives, right here on the Super Review Show Network. I am joined by my two incredible friends, Kyle and Mike. What's going on, guys?
Hey guys, not much.
Going on? You ready to do some reviewing?
Time to get some saviors out of our way right now. So, as the title of this podcast suggests, we are talking about Green Day's Saviors that just got released this past Friday. We did a quick listen through of it over the weekend. And here we are today talking about the album by Green Day known as Saviors. Their most recent release, their 14th album. Is that right, Kyle?
Yep, album 14.
Album 14. Lucky 14. Gotta love it. But yeah, Kyle, it's your day, man. It's your
Right.
Green Day day. What do you got?
Been waiting for this for years. Uh,
Yes.
yeah. So I mean, after Unlucky album 13, which was one of their worst albums. As far as things go, I've never disliked a Green Day record, but Father of All, coming off the heels of that, which was a flop both critically and you know in the fan base, audiences and critics alike just panned that record, and for a good reason. It wasn't Green Day. Butch Walker kind of butchered the production on it. So couple that with the Hella Mega tour, in which it was pretty much, they didn't play a single track off that album. It was pretty much a greatest hits album, or greatest hits tour. And it just kind of got me thinking, kind of got me a little worried that they've hit that point of their career, which even if they were, great, good for them. But I kind of got worried that they're at the point of their career where they're just going to throw out a release here and there every so often, like a lackluster release, and just be more of a legacy act, touring off of the hits. Which this far into a career, that's not, that would still be great. A lot of artists would be grateful to be in that position. But I'm glad this album really showed me that they still have more in the tank. They still have things to say. And yeah, so I mean, let's get into it. I'll go track by track here real quick. The American Dream is killing me. I mean, I've had this on repeat since it came out in October. It's a straight 10 out of 10 for me. This is exactly what I was looking for in a return from Green Day. It's bring back the political commentary. This is actually written years ago. This is actually the first song written and last song recorded for here. They recorded it during the Father of All sessions, or well, wrote it then, but thought it was too much of like low hanging fruit at the time with the election going on, and kind of wanted to stay away from the politics at the time. Glad it came out now. Really great way to introduce the album. But having said that, it's really on its own. It doesn't represent the album at all. The rest of the album is a pretty large shift from this for the most part, but that's not a bad thing at all. I mean, Look Mono Brains, probably the most punk, like true punk song they've done since Insomniac. Another 10 out of 10 for me. One of my favorites on this record. Another one I've been listening to it since it came out. Yet to get sick of it. Just front to back, incredible song, lyrically fun. Instrumentation is great. Again, most punk thing they've done since Insomniac. Then you go to Bobby Socks, which I like the song. Don't get me wrong. This sits at about an 8 or a 9 for me. Could go up and down depending on what mood I'm in. But that might be an unpopular opinion, that this is my least favorite to second least favorite on the album. This seems to be a
Eight
fan
or nine's your
favorite.
least favorite?
Yes. Yes, we're
Sheesh,
going.
man. This guy's going. He's going hard on this album.
I'm going very hard on this album. Yes. So this seems to be a fan favorite. People seem to like this one. A lot of people quote this one as their favorite and a highlight. And I get that. It's a very Weezer-esque song,
It
with the
is.
chorus being very much almost like a Chester Bennington inspired vocal.
Mm.
And it's cool. It's a cool change up for Green Day on that front. But then One Eyed Bastard, great song. I've had this one since like May or June. There was like a leak of it that went around.
Yeah.
So I've known of this one. The only thing I really changed is like some more production. It has a little bit beefier production on it. Some like gang vocals in there. Really great song. This one's gonna be it's gonna kill live 100%. The chorus a little bit repetitive, but I think it works in the commentary and like the place that it's at here. Really fun song. 10 out of 10 again. Haven't gotten sick of it yet. Don't think I will. And I've listened to this album probably somewhere between 20 to 30 times since it's come out. Dilemma. Another 10 out of 10. The most personal
Oh.
lyrics he's done in
Pink wrote
uh,
Pink wrote My Bastard better, just to be honest with you.
Deep Purple wrote
Yeah.
it better. If you
Oh
want
gosh.
to go that route.
If you want to go there.
But yeah, everyone's drawn that comparison to Pink on One Eyed Bastard. I mean, it's right there. But I mean, if you want to trace it all the way back, it goes back to Deep Purple. Uh, but again, Dilemma, some of the most personal lyrics he's written, kind of has a what's her name feel to it. Has a back to like this is only the second song they've ever done in drop D tuning. Has some cool aspects going on here. Really love this one. 1981, another just fast, fun punk song. Love this one. Love all the references to the I like the political styles of the 80s, but also keeping it fun at the same time. Really fun. It's only like 2 minutes long, but another 10 out of 10. Then Goodnight Adeline, more personal lyrics from him. Actually, the first time I heard this at one of the listening parties, I actually got like chills during that first verse. Really good. The vocal melodies on this are beautiful. The chorus is great. The solo that leads into the key change at the end is perfect. Exactly what I want in Green Day's material that was missing from Father of All are actual movements and not just we're playing the song. Here's a 2.5 minute song and that's it. Love that they had that in there. Coma City, probably the most 21st century breakdown sounding song on the album. Best thing about this one is another 10 out of 10. But best thing on this is that ending where it just devolves into just insanity. I mean, Trey just going crazy on the drums for the last like 30 or so seconds. You could tell it must have been so much fun for them to record. Corvette Summer, really cool garage rock sound going on here. Very like 70s almost inspired. Chorus kind of even sounds. We did the Beach Boys last week. Chorus kind of sounds a little bit Beach Boys esque. Love it. Really fun chorus. It's a perfect driving song. Susie Chapstick. This one actually grew on me. At first, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this one. It actually grew on me quite a bit. It gets stuck in my head. It's a very, probably the slowest song on here that's not a straight ballad like Father to a Son. But again, vocal melodies on this are great. This whole album's probably Billy's best vocal performance since 21st Century Breakdown. The melodies are some of the best he's written. Then Strange Days Are Here to Say. Love this. This one, especially, I'm going to kind of talk about this one with Living in the 20s at the same time because I feel like these back to back are just such a kick ass combination. They both kind of get that political commentary, but that line on Strange Days where he says, ever since Bowie died, it hasn't been the same. And I think that's such a cool like point in time to point to for that because that was 2016.
Yes.
And yeah, things have been quite different since then. I mean, everything that's happened since 2016, the world really doesn't feel the same. And it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. Living in the 20s, some really just fun, angry lyrics on there. It took me an embarrassingly long time to realize, probably until I heard the song. Because when I first saw the track list and saw the name, did not realize it was going to be about the 2020s. My mind was like, he's going to be talking about the 1920s. And I heard the song and I was like, oh, yeah, that makes more sense. But yeah, I love that one. It sounds very much like Horseshoes and Hand Grenades from 21st Century Breakdown. Has very similar chord progression rhythm going on. And then it brings you to Father to a Son, which probably one of the best ballad they've done since 2009. That's for sure. It starts, acoustic and it has that build up with the strings and just kind of builds and builds. Really great. It's a really sweet song. Just Billy writing a message to his kids, and it's great. It works very well. I could totally see this in a live setting, sandwiched somewhere like between Wake Me Up at September Ends, 21 Guns, and like Good Riddance toward the end of the set. And then we go into maybe my least favorite. It's either this one or Bobby Socks. I go back and forth. Nothing really happens much in this song. That's not to say
we know JT is going to give it a 10. Let's just be
I
honest
thought
with
that going into it too, Mike. But
We'll see.
it doesn't really go. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's a good song for what it is. But when I compare it to the other songs on the album, it just seems to be missing a little something. I like the effect, like the megaphone effect on his voice. It's cool, like it serves its function. I could see this being like the first song that they play like the concerts for this tour to kind of like ease people in. Like it has a good atmosphere for that. But again, it doesn't really go anywhere, which leads into Fancy Sauce, which not gonna lie, when I saw the title to this track, I was a little worried about it. I was like, are they gonna be ending this album on like a joke song?
Mm.
And then I saw the length before I heard it, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be a 4 minute joke song. But no, it ended up being a pretty deep track, slow track. I think it's one of their best closers in general. That beginning intro guitar actually reminds me a bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers at times. Just think it might just be the tone on it. But that the chorus is fantastic. It has very personal lyrics that I didn't expect from a song like this. I like it has like that instrumental outro to it. So I mean, overall, this album it's a straight 10 out of 10 for me. As an album listening experience, it's fantastic. This is the best thing they've done since 2009. 100%. And that's not, I don't say that lightly because I loved Revolution Radio. I thought that was one of their top 3 records. I honestly think with the production on this, this is overtaking it. I mean, Rob Cavallo and Chris Lord Alge are the dream team for Green Day in terms of production and mixing. Everything they touch with these guys is gold. This album's no exception. And I hope that they continue working together after this. I don't want another Father of All situation after this one. I think they're in a good spot. This album blew me away, and I've been listening to it nonstop, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon.
I'm gonna go next.
Yes, the J Tizzle McNizzle.
Yes. So you heard it here first. Cost a 10 out of 10. I'm not surprised, but I am slightly surprised at the same time that you say that because for those who've listened to us for any period of time, Kyle is our Green Day guy. He knows that catalog, and outside of he knows them front to back. And when this album was first coming out, we're like, all right, we have to let him go first. So just get out.
I just want to get my one negative thing out of the way real quick that I forgot about.
Go ahead.
The Japanese bonus track, Fever. Awful. One of the worst things they've ever done. It's garbage. It is it's a leftover from the Father of All sessions. It's the one track on here that's produced by Butch Walker. It goes absolutely nowhere. It's boring. It is one of the most lackluster things that they've done. I see why it was left off the last album, and I am so grateful it was left off the actual Saviors album. So that's my one negative.
There you go.
Good to know. I didn't even realize that. I was like, whatever, one song bonus track, whatever.
I think it officially comes out. I think the Japanese CD might not come out till next Friday.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So, going into this, coming off of Father of All, which I will admit was a disappointment. It was Butch Walker, and it's funny because Butch Walker actually plays acoustic guitar on track 7.
He does.
I don't know if you guys knew
a lot of these songs started as a project with Butch Walker and carried over.
Yeah, and thank God Rob Cavallo took over production stuff because it's funny when albums have re-listenability. Like there's a reason why we all go back to Dookie or with Green Day specifically, or Dookie or American Idiot or 21st Century Breakdown or what makes an album have re-listenability. I believe, and this is my personal opinion, is I think Saviors will have that effect on a lot of people. Well, because I'm in agreement with Kyle that I actually have been listening to it a lot more than I thought I would. Because whenever an album comes out on a Friday and we do our show on here on Monday, it's like, all right, at first I'm like, all right, we have 3 or 4 days to listen to the album repetitively and to get a full analysis of it, whatever, right? This one I went back to more than I normally would have on most of our releases we've talked about. We talked about the Avenged Sevenfold record. I went back to it like 3 or 4 times, maybe pushing 5. This one I've gone back to not as many as Kyle, not like 20 or 30 times, but I've gone back to about 7 or 8 times. So that tells you something. Like for at least me, who's not a casual. I mean, I love Green Day, but nowhere near as much as Kyle. But I do enjoy Green Day quite a bit. But I will say, This album, if you're this album will have a lot of re-listenability to it personally, and the production. And again, echoing Rob Cavallo coming back as a producer, just all around killer tracks. I gotta admit, and at first when I was first listening to it, I thought it was front loaded a little bit, but then the more I listened to it, I said no, it makes more sense, and it's actually a complete listening experience overall. So let me get into my track listing really quick here. But the American Dream is killing me. That chorus is so catchy. It is so catchy that the whole da 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 da, that whole chorus is it's so hooked. I cannot wait to see it live. Can't wait to see so many of these songs live. To Kyle's point, it is touching on the political aspect a little bit. We're not going to get into that too much, of course, but it's a great song overall. This is actually 10 out of 10. I've been listening to this one track alone nonstop a lot. Look, No Brains, great, just straight coming on. Like, so the American Dream is killing me is their first track on the record. Look, No Brains, I'm like, all right, whatever. It's Green Day, funky title, whatever, right? No, this is a straightforward plow through your brains pop punk song. And I loved every single second of this. Is another 10 out of 10 for me. Bobby Socks, it's funny. There were some points I got nervous about Billy Joe screaming so much because his voice is like just screaming so much. Like I've never heard him like that before, and now that he was so intense with his vocals on some of these tracks, I was like, he's like actually like not necessarily grunting necessarily, but just like his voice was so strong coming out of his mouth. I was like, oh my god, hopefully he's okay. When he goes on tour, I was like, Billy Joe, calm down. It's okay. It's okay. Take a breath. Take a breath. But but Bobby, I actually really like this track. This actually like a 9. It's catchy, it's quick. For some reason, the guitar lick reminded me of a Third Eye Blind song. I forget what the song was called, but like the opening riff kind of reminded me of that a little bit. I forget specifically what that song was. But anyways, great song overall. I liked it a lot. One Eyed Bastard. It's funny, man. I didn't hear the leak that Kyle referenced, of course, but when I first saw the title, I was like, all right, it's Green Day's gonna do whatever. That's a great song. My God, this song kills on record. And when I see the Saviors tour later this year, I am hoping that they play this song live because it sounds so like it sounds like it would go over live. And it's funny, Kyle was a lot of these songs. It's funny. Kyle kept referencing like some like string elements and stuff like that of the 21st Century Breakdown era. I feel like they brought some of those elements back into some of these songs, like just going back for a second to The American Dream is killing me. Like there's strings in there a little bit, beautifully done. Almost like the opening of like Viva La Gloria Little Girl or even Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. Or I forget what this is. Con knows what I'm talking about. Like, but there's like, Restless Heart Syndrome. That's what it was. Yep. That was the song. Like the strings on there were brilliant, and the fact that they carefully put strings into some of these songs, I thought was a brilliant callback to say, hey, we remember where we came from with American Idiot, 21st Century Breakdown, etc. We want to show the world, hey, we're a badass band. We're gonna do what we gotta do. So yeah, One Eyed Bastard, great song. Dilemma, the song just kicks ass, man. It's a really great song overall. That's another like 9 out of 10 for me. It's funny with 1981. I have to just say this, and Kyle knows about this too. It's funny. They, out of all the Green Day songs with numbers in their titles, for whatever reason, with title tracks and numbers, they work for whatever reason. So 1981, this is a 10 out of 10 track. The number, like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's a number. 21 Guns, 86, 80, 16. We're gonna have a great time here. And sure enough, it was. It was 2 minutes and 9 seconds of pure bliss. It was incredible.
You know where that title comes from?
1981?
Why specifically 1981? Mike, do you know?
I don't.
You have to tell us.
1981 was the year that MTV started when they would play 24-hour music videos.
I thought it was 80 for whatever reason, but fair enough.
August 81. 1981.
Good to know. Good to know. The more you know. But great song though. Exactly. Goodnight Adeline. There's another straight 9 out of 10 on this track. Just a great song overall. Coma City. It starts off with just Coma City, and then it goes right into it. Fantastic song again. 8.5 out of 10, but pushing 9 to an extent. Corvette Summer. It's funny. We just the moment the moment I saw the title, I was like, all right, because my grandfather passed away back in September, and he was a Corvette guy. He loved summertime. This reminded me of like a punk rock version of the Beach Boys, for lack of a better word, and just cruising around town like the summertime, but like in a modern context, not just like the '60s pop music or whatever. It's like Beach Boys, Jan and Dean, whatever. This is a straight 10 out of 10. Corvette Summer is a fantastic song. I plan on playing it for the entire summer. Just saying. Susie Chapstick, a really good song overall. I like this one a lot actually. I came back to it more and more, and the rest of the album I want to follow up in a second with. But Susie Chapstick, it's funny. It's a really great song, and it really like it's not like I shouldn't say how should I word this? It's like it stuck with me, but it didn't stick with me. It didn't stick with me as much as I thought it would. So like, but it's still a great song overall though. It's an 8 out of 10 for me. I really like this one a lot, and ironically enough, Strange Days and Living in the 20s. I never made that connection until you said that. I was just I was when I started Living in the 20s, I was like, all right, that makes more sense now. But Strange Days Are Here to Stay and Living in the 20s back to back. This is like they're both 8 out of 10 and 9 out of 10. Just straightforward guitar driven punk songs. Incredible songs overall. Am I freaking out a little bit? Yes. Father to a Son. Father to a Son, with Billy Joe Armstrong talking about his, it's a really good ballad. And actually it reminded me a little bit of Last Night on Earth a little bit, here and there, from 21st Century Breakdown too. And also Kyle hit it on the head again, like 21, the ballad, the more ballady songs of Green Day over the years, like Last Night on Earth or 21 Guns or Wake Me Up with September Ends, Good Riddance. Even to that extent, I would say even like something like Ordinary World for that matter. This Saviors is not my favorite song on the record.
Man, these are living in the 20s is a
Family.
crazy time, man. Living in the 20s is a crazy time right now because I
Saviors
mean,
is
one day,
Saviors is a good song. I like it, but it's not my favorite. Ironically enough, this is the first time there's a title track that I actually think is just good. It's kind of like the Foo Fighters situation all over again. Like, oh, it's good, It's all right. It's not great, but
I wish my hat had a chin strap so I could hold my jaw up. You know, I mean, because I can't help it, let it fall down. I'm just
oh my
shocked.
God. But yeah, this is a just fantastic. It's a good song. It's not a great song. I mean, but do I hate it? No. I mean, this album has a title track. It's towards the end of the album. Why not? It's fine. I mean, do I love it? Yes. Do I love it as much as a lot of the other tracks here, like The American Dream Is Killing Me or Bobby Sacks or Dilemma? No. But I do enjoy it quite a bit. It's not my favorite though. When I first saw it, I was like, all right, title track. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Title track, baby. And Fancy, just a great, really nice song overall. But Fancy Sauce, honestly, this is a really great closer to an album. And I have not listened to Fever, so I kind of don't want to listen to Fever, but that's me. And honestly, 46 minutes flew by. This is an album that, like, you can listen to from start to finish and not get bored with it, and not get all like you cannot get bored with it, which is great. So, but overall, great. Green Day's back, ladies and gentlemen. They learned the mistakes of Fatherwell. They brought back Rob Cavallo, and they made us an album that kicks ass. Clearly, I know Mike loved this record though.
Bring in the villain.
Hey, bring in the villain, he says. Hey, let me.
Here's
I
the
didn't
villain
get to.
shirt.
Wait, so JT, what was your rating?
Oh, sorry, 9.5 out of 10.
Cool. All right, Mike, you're up.
There we go. There we go. So, yeah, I'm sure I've given the background on my experience with the Green Day. I mean, I was one of the more of the original, my sister had their albums and I would borrow them and listen to them, like Kerplunk and Dookie and there's probably another album in there I listened to before I pretty much kind of fell off and really never listened to them ever again. And in a lot of ways, I outgrew this style of pop punk, music. Like I kind of evolved into a certain type of song listener that became more progressive, more changing. And like, while I can go back to some of these styles of songs, like here and there, my brain just gets bored and just doesn't get what it wants from music. So that's my only major issue when it comes to Green Day is like when I listen, even when I go back and listen to some of their old stuff, a lot of it sounds the same. A lot of it uses the same kind of songwriting techniques and change ups that it uses. So like uh and I did a little deep dive on the past to kind of first of all identify a sound that I liked from Green Day, but but I noticed a lot of it was nostalgic. A lot of it was like a tune that I liked for the time. So that applying that to today, it kind of felt like I was going through the same thing. So yeah, I was starting off with American Dream is Killing Me. Just repetitive, the American dream is killing me, the American dream is killing me. It just kind of a short blast of a chorus, just not didn't really love that. It was just kind of, it's kind of like eh. At times it sounds like when he broke into that musical part where it sounded like Noel, Noel, that Christmas song. I swear to you, if you hum Noel while like that part's going on, they're almost identical. As well as
Slow down the
the
melody of the basket case. It's pretty much identical to that bridge.
Yes, it's just about to say that the main melody of Basket Case, you can actually hear it within this song. It almost feels like a nod to their previous self. Yeah, so it wasn't. It could be a 5, it could be a 6 for me. It's in that realm. I might give it. Kyle's reacting here. He's already giving me the reactions here. I could probably say it's a 6. Would be a fair score for me. It didn't really do anything for me. Didn't wasn't horrible, wasn't whatever. So then we got Look Mono Brains. It's actually one of the better songs, like writing wise, change up wise, movement wise, because it starts off with that punk intro. It's such a short song, and I know, oh, we're punk and we do short songs, and like cool, but like it really needed more time to allow the parts of the song to like rep for it, I guess you could say. So I actually, it's one of those songs that I was like, man, I wish it was longer. I wish it had more going on for it. Um, yeah, like, and that's kind of it comes a theme in this album. It's like either it's too short or it's longer than it needs to be. So this one, I would have gone 6.57, but because it was so short, I was sitting at a 6.5 on that one. And then we go to Bobby Socks. Oh God, this is where I really took a dump. Like Bobby Sox, so Weezer, so bubblegum. The lyrics are ridiculous. Uh it's just some of the most boring kind of just cringe lyrics I've heard like so far on this album. So
Are you
this is a 3 out of 10
want to
for
be his
me.
boyfriend?
Yeah, oh God, he just kept repeating that over and over again. Do you wanna be my boy? I was playing this in the living room, and Tracy would go, "Are you playing that song again?" Oh God! And I'm like, "I have to, hon. I'm listening. This is for a review." And she's like, "I know, but oh God, it was just vomit inducing, So and it reminded me of the Weezer I don't like. Oh, to remind the audience, this is a group of how old are these guys now? Are they in their 50s?
Yeah, they gotta be like 50.
They're in their
Yeah,
50s and they're writing music like they're writing it for like yeah,
52.
and this is
52.
well, yeah, they're writing it like so. This is the problem with being in a band like this. You are bound to your audience's wishes of tickling that nostalgic bone, that like everyone wants to relive. And although you think you're free to do whatever, which obviously Green Day's done side projects and other types of things, which have gone into some really strange areas, and actually I would argue that I actually enjoyed some of the strange stuff that they put out. Kyle, at gunpoint forced me to listen to one of the side projects for Green Day, and it was actually kind of cool. They did some interesting, funny things, but this band is kind of bound to that, like being 50 something year old guys singing as if they're still teenagers, and it's like we get it. It's Green Day is its own life now outside of like the actual people in the band. It's like a feeling less than just their life as is currently. You know, so putting that out there, you can some of the songs just don't work for the fact that I know that they're older writing these songs. So let me go on to One Eyed Bastard. You know, like I was trying to say there with Kyle, and you know, he was talking about it. Literally, if you listen to Pink's um song,
So
what is
what?
it called?
So
What is it?
what?
So what?
What?
So
Yeah.
what is it?
So
So what
what?
is it? No, I'm just kidding. I was just gonna do like a little bit where I just continue to
Dumper.
ask you what it is, and you say so what, and then we just keep doing that, and then eventually the stream will go into 3 hours. But yeah, just literally, if you listen to "So What" by Pink, I mean, it's almost note for note the same. Then they go back into a rehash of "Holiday" with the dun 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 dun. It's like literally. I mean, they're so close. Then you have a couple randomness in between. It feels really rehashed. It's just, and sometimes Billy's voice just comes off like weird. I don't know what it is. I actually listened to some of their older albums, and he has a much more aggressive sound, and that's something that's really missing from this album too, is aggressive attitude. It feels like the attitude has been cut in half, and you just feel like you lose a lot of that. So yeah, just it was pretty, 4 out of 10 for me. Um, and then come back into Dilemma, very Weezer sounding again. And I like the simplicity of this song. I like some of the heavier guitar here. It wasn't a bad thing that it stayed simple. But yeah, 6 out of 10 for me. Still staying in that range. It's like mid to whatever, and then we get to 1981, too short once again. I like the punk feel, in this, but and then we get to my favorite song so far. Good Night Adeline, actually great chorus, use of melody in the song. I love the solo that kicks in. It feels very Weezer here too, but I like overall this is one of the better songwriting songs. I like the chorus a lot, so I'm 7.5 out of 10 for that. It's like the first time I was actually like, wow, like if I going to Green Day for pop punk, or if we're gonna say punk, going to Green Day for punk and attitude, it's like going to Olive Garden for Italian food. Like it really is. So you don't really you come to them for like catchy lines and stuff like that, like you come there for like the more pop side of punk. So to expect super aggressive band all the time, like get out of my face on punk is like unfair. So like Good Night Adeline is like kind of a soft, quieter side, and it works. And I do agree with Kyle. It would be one of those songs you'd hear and like in a concert where they do like a not a compilation, but like a I can't remember the word I was just about to say. Uh,
Medley.
just a what
Medley.
medley. Thank you. You have medley of those types of songs, kind of definitely fit there. Then we go to Coma City. It's so repetitive. In Coma City, Coma City, Coma City. I just if he says Coma City one more time, I sir will go into a coma, and it will be in the city I live in, which I can't currently say. Yeah, so yeah, meh. 5 out of 10. Let me move on to Corvette Summer. It felt like I was listening to Jet or one of these bands that just play these like, kind of style songs that just feels out of place for Green Day. It's not what I go to Green Day for, to hear a song like that. I go to Green Day to hear more like the punky pop kind of stuff. So it does break into that somewhere, but it just kind of feels out of place. So 5 out of 10 for me. Then we get to Susie Chapstick. It's another song that feels out of place, and this is actually, I would say, Corvette Summer, Susie Chapstick, maybe a little bit of Coma City feel out of place for Green Day. Have some elements to them that are like Green Day, but feel out of place for Green Day. Yeah, I just did not like this song. It just felt like it's got that repetition. It's got like it's kind of strange. It kind of felt like a 90s song that I've heard in the past. I just can't put my finger on it. It just, yeah, melody over and over again. Just like kept doing that over and over again. Yes, I was like a 4 out of 10. Strange Days, another basic punk song, sounded too close to Look Mono Brains, as a classic Green Day song, but it just felt like I began to draw distinctions a little too much. But still, 6 out of 10. Living in the 20s, I'll say the same thing, 6 out of 10. Um, and then Father to a Son. It's actually I actually like the quieter songs on this album more so than I like the upbeat pop punk kind of stuff. Father to a Son, I like the orchestration. You know me, I'm a big fan of the orchestra. It does it a little too much where it just kind of repeats that orchestra over and over again, orchestra piece. So 6.5, but not bad song. I might even go 7 on that. And then we come to two of my least favorite songs on the album. Saviors is just boring. I'm just waiting for it to do something. Damn you, do something. Yeah, it was just like it just it never arrived. It almost failed to have a chorus. If I look back on my notes, I think it just does, but it just miss it because it's just forgettable. And then Fancy Sauces, oh my God, that was just horrible. I like when he's talking to the loony bin and this and that, and the voice he's using. Well, I'm just like, this sounds like a completely another person, another band completely. It doesn't even ring in my ears as a Green Day song. It just sounds like Billy Joe. I don't know, like reflecting on his, I don't know. But yeah, overall it was just and like I said, I can't say this is a bad album. I might say I've outgrown this sound as a musical, like, my what I kind of consume. And that I have no problem saying, like, this album is good to those who are in this genre, like this kind of style of music. So 5.5 out of 10 is the final rating on it. It is, I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm sorry.
Hey, I didn't go that low.
I know. When I tried to, I could say it could be a 6 out of 10. 6 would be fair. 5.5 is like if we're gonna nitpick down to the wire, but there are some redeeming qualities here and there, catchiness that, like, while I don't ever deem catchiness as an automatic guarantee that I give something a high rating. Sometimes I do judge the musical way they arrive to the catchiness and how they maintain it. I could just start a song off with a very catchy, melody, and then just do nothing else, and then just say, okay, there's a song, and it's just like, wait, but what about, like, the rest of it, So, catchiness on some level, I would say I could award it a half point more, so 6 out of 10. But like, yeah, 5.5, 6 is where I had to sit it. So yeah.
Damn. All I have to say. Um, Anything else in closing, guys? Are we all set?
I'll just add that, it's really great to see Green Day having an album again that's getting both critical and audience acclaim,
Yes.
outside of Mike, apparently. I mean, all the reviews have been great. Audience, even casual fans, seem to love it. It's a huge return to form for the band in such a great way. And great. I think I agree with them in a way where they said that this is kind of they viewed this album as a bridge between Dookie and American Idiot. And I totally see where they're coming from on that sound wise. And I'm just looking forward to see what they do from here. And Green Day, if you ever catch this stream or watch this video, don't leave Rob Cavallo, please.
Yeah.
Well, who didn't give it a glowing review is Trump. He said they are irrelevant.
Oh, of course he did.
Because he got upset about the whole mega generation thing he said during the concert.
It's been doing that. They've been doing that since 2016.
Kyle, good news is only what you can spin to look like happening now.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's it.
I think we're good, guys. Anything else you guys want to touch on, or that's it, right?
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. We want to thank you all for watching, listening, however you enjoyed us tonight. Ultimately, Kyle loved it, of course. I really enjoyed it as well. Mike was kind of on the surprise for me at least. He's like, all right, he's the villain. It's okay. It happens. No, but we ultimately, that's what you guys have to say there. So please sound off in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching, listening, however you enjoyed us tonight. We'll be back next week. We're not sure specifically what we're going to do yet because there's not too many new releases coming out this year, but we will let you guys know next week when the time comes, next Monday night. So yeah, but thanks for watching us. For all of us here at the Super Review Show, stay safe, take care, and be awesome.